We should be able to close in all of the top. Tara's got her tools ready. She's ready to rock and roll. Welcome to the 10 Acre Woods. My name's Mark, and I don't know if you can see Tara. She's over there. We are starting to work on this building here. So it used to be 2 rabbit hutches back in the day when we first started back in 2002, I think it was. That's Prince over there crying out. He does that whenever there's any loud noises, so I'm sure he's going to be screaming quite a bit today. Years after we enclosed the 2 areas, which is the green section there. But now we're finding, because we have this little half door, this makeshift door, we want to bring that up, and we want to have a full-size door on each side, and we're going to change the slope of the roof. So the first thing to do is to take down all this sheet metal and pull down all of the rafters, the roof trusses, and rebuild. Welcome to day 2. So teardown is done and it is time for rebuild. Tara went to the lumber store and picked up some the remaining wood that we think we need. We may have to get pieces here and there, but we do have some stuff around the yard, which is handy when rebuilding and tearing apart buildings, to keep a little stash around. Now, something interesting that just happened. We had a car pull up. Well, we have cars pull up all the time, it seems, but this one actually had a dog in the back, and they found it up there on the highway. Lots of cars passing by, and so we'll go in and have a look at this puppy. So it looks like a lab from what I could see from the deck, and we just we don't do dog animal rescues, but we do, yeah, here we go. Looks like an older lab. Hi, and you're very friendly. And it looks like you have a collar. So, of course, there's no tag on it. So we'll have to check for a tattoo. See if there's a tattoo in there, which it looks like, yes, there is a tattoo in there. So what we'll do is so friendly, it just wants to be right, okay. Yes, you are friendly. So what we'll do is we'll take some pictures right away, put them on our Facebook page, and see if anybody's missing a dog that was running around on the highway. Hey, yes, we'll find your home for you. Somebody's missing you, I'm sure. Okay, pictures taken and post made to our Facebook page. So it is now, well, it's 1:45, so we'll see what happens, how long it takes. The power of social media. Now, we have started our rebuild out here, and, well, these 2 buildings were built in separate years. Separate years? Yeah, I think a year apart. 17 years ago. So we're finding that everything isn't quite as square and flush as it should be, which is to be expected. So here we go, everything's open. We've got our doors built out with our plate on top, and then the roof's gonna come down, and there's Tara. It's going to come down to the corner here. So we're going to start building that. We did have to add more supports into here because when this was originally built, it was built, that looks even more than 2 feet. So there's not a whole lot of structural support here. We're going to get the roof portion up and framed, and then we're going to start knocking out these pieces here and replacing them as well. So, you know, missing spots here, missing there. This was built in. We haven't used this in years. We used to actually have our rabbits in there. but we wanted to give them more space. There just wasn't enough space. So they do periodically jump up into these areas here. So what we may do is just remove those hinge doors off there. Actually, we'll probably leave them on the top because this is still good for storage up top of items that you don't want them to get in, like feed and supplies and such. Now these two end pieces here on each end are actually perfectly level. Now, they're level that way, they're probably not level this way, but we're basically framing it all in so that the roof is going to be completely flush. So taking a level from that door frame to that door frame makes it perfectly level. So that's going to be our starting point in our build. The rabbits didn't have any roof last night when it rained, but they have lots of shelters. You can see the water line over there, and you can actually see the rabbits up in that smaller area there. But they do have lots of shelters. So they've got a bunch. They've got the shelter over there, and they've got these other shelters here. So the first thing we did was to run some twine from the top corners of the door to the corners of the building. And that way we can get our measurements for our uprights, which we then installed 16-inch centers, so 14.5 inches apart, to make sure everything was lined up and properly supported. Now that we have all of our uprights on with a 12.5 degree angle on the top, we put our top plates on. And then we get started the same thing on the other side. You can faintly see the twine that we've run from the corner up to the center. And that's where we're taking our measurement, cutting the tops at 12.5 degrees, and continuing on. At this point, we're putting our 12-foot long joists on the roof, and we're lining them up with 14.5-inch blocks so that they are perfectly aligned. Welcome to day 3. So we have the one side of the roof up, and the other side we're working on. It just started to rain last night, which I'm starting to feel a few drops now. It is not supposed to rain today, but the clouds look a little dark. So let me give you a little tour here on what we've done, and you can see the supports on the top here are all 16-inch centers, so there's a 14.5-inch gap in between them. This pipe, of course, isn't going to remain. This is the electrical conduit that runs across, but we're currently running the electric fence for the front out of the building there. So we're going to leave this hooked up until we get the roof on, and then we'll be able to work inside. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, we got a duck in here. These spacings are way too large for support. So once we get the roof on, we're going to be putting in boards in between them, taking the bottom section out and giving it that support. Because once winter comes and we have a snow load happening on here, we're going to have quite a bit of weight on those walls. So we're going to get those reinforced. After we get the roof on, then rain will not be an issue. So sizing for rabbit hutches. How big should you have a rabbit hutch? Well, the rule of thumb is, hi, how are you guys doing? The rule of thumb is 4 square feet per rabbit, and that's to have their housing. This is Belvedere. I'm not sure about this one, but they're both English lops. So 4 square feet per rabbit, minimum 8 square feet. So you should have a decent size. So I think the gauge that you'd normally find on the internet is having 2 rabbits, because they like to be in pairs, they like to be bonded. If you've only got one, you've got to spend a lot of attention, give it a lot of attention, and then they'll bond to you. But they should also have an outside run. The outside run should be a minimum of about 24 square feet, and preferably longer so that they can run. So I'm not quite sure about the dimensions of this, but this is their outside run where they can get some exercise and get away from some of the other ones. We have some little homes out here just to give them a bunch of areas that they can go. So the area of this building here is this section, or this pen, this hutch, is 10 feet across by 8 feet. So we're looking at 80 square feet. So that should be able to house 20 rabbits. All right, so we're going to get going on this because we do feel some drops. So we're gonna build the second half of this, and we have enough steel roofing material, which is the same type of material that we've put over on this roof and most of our roofs, that we should be able to close in all of the top. Tara's got her tools ready. She's ready to rock and roll. Okay, so let's get finished on this building. So it's the next day, and we ran out of usable steel for our roof. So here we are. We have this section of it done, all roofed up to the peak. But of course, on the other side, we ran a little short. So we're 4 feet. So we need to order some more steel for this section here. And then what we're also going to do is, as I mentioned before, we're going to extend this one out probably close to that tree. So by building the roof this way, we can actually tie in to those 2x6s and then run it out and have some posts in here and have just an awning to keep our hay storage that will be in here nice and dry for the winter. So we're gonna putter away at this over the next few days. It's been raining. They're calling for a bunch of snow, so we're gonna get things winterized, I guess. Looks like the rabbits have some apples. Tara gave them some apples. And they're under shelter at least now. So they've got this up here. It is a little bit low in that area, but we just have to watch our heads when we go, if we go in that deep. We need a door for the other side, and that's what it looks like from this side. So the top section will have steel on it. Of course, the door's there. These bottom sections are left open just to get some air in there in the summertime, spring, fall. And then what we do is we put poly, 6mm poly, over those two sections to close it off. And of course, they'll have their little door there that they can still get outside during the winter months. I almost forgot. We had CBC News come out to the farm yesterday to do a little spot on Fernando. So Fernando got his interview, and Tara was interviewed as well.
How did Fernando end up here at 10 Acre Woods?
We've, for many years, the public know that we take in animals, and we were contacted by a little old lady who was hatched out trying to raise turkeys in the middle of winter. And you can't raise them, they need high protein, so it's very difficult. So they were starting to die on her, and she contacted us and asked if we would take in the remaining ones that were left. So we said yes. We've never turned away animals. We'll try to find homes in any way that we can for them. And then after he came in, we actually had another turkey named Tom who was just as friendly. Tom took off after the wild turkeys that came into the yard. Once he left, the doors were open for Fernando to come out because two male Toms will fight. So then Fernando was let out, and he became friendly instantaneously from one side of the gate to the other. And he just has grown with the people that come.
One thing I forgot to mention is a couple days ago when that lab came in, it took about an hour and a half, and the owners came and picked up their dog. So his name was Cash. So I guess you can say that they made a cash withdrawal from the 10 Acre Woods. Anyway, this is the building, or well, the shelter, I guess. It's not really a building, but this is our shelter area. We have a barbecue in there, so when people come to visit, if they want to do a birthday party or something, they can utilize this area. There's a fridge over there. And what we're going to do is we're going to tarp this completely off, and it'll be a hay storage area. And there is our winter shelter. So our summer barbecue shelter turned into a winter shelter with just a tarp. So we had this garage tent, I guess you call it, portable garage, for quite a few years. And we've got some tuck tape up there because it did roll a few times in the wind. So that's why we've got all of this wood framing and everything all built around it. And it's all secured to it, so it's now quite heavy. We do have some damage here. You can see a few of the legs kind of got bent when it made its tumble. So that's it for this video. I think I'm going to be doing a fall farm tour if it's not snowing outside this weekend. Apparently we're going to be getting lots of rain slash slush slash snow. Not quite sure. But anyway, that's it for this video. Any questions, please leave them down below in the comments, and we'll see you next weekend. Bye-bye.